say maybe you work in a teller in another bank, and you work from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. and even work late night because you have to balance your gears and all of that. And on top of that, you have to go to work over the weekends, and your salary is probably just 70K or 80K or even thereabout. So at times, like I said, time and chances. So you can't really compare that and use that as a basis to. Some people just want more, but it's just because of the situation and they're not getting those opportunities where they can get the desired level of income that is convenient for them to live comfortable in life. So you don't necessarily use that as a yardstick to say, oh, maybe they are lazy and all of that. So that's my opinion.
Kinda, thank you so much. You don't have to use that as a yes. Okay, I think I'm going to say this. I actually, my office is actually in Lekki, and I had one statement. I think I saw it on someone's status rather. They said, okay, people that work in Lekki, they don't look like the amount they earn. So I think I don't know if anybody had heard that statement before. People that work like you work in Lekki and you Lekki is with fine office and you work very hard, but you're not looking like the amount you work. I don't know if that is true by me. I don't know if that status is actually right. Does anybody have anything to say about it? Blessed, do you have anything to say about it?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
In
Angie, yes. So, like, the popular saying that if it is hard work that make people very wealthy, right? People that push truck would have been the wealthiest people on earth. In order for them to push the big truck. So I feel, yeah. It's one thing to work hard. It's another thing to work passionately. Like sometimes
wow.
when you are passionate about what you do, even when the work seems hard, you don't feel it because you just love doing it. I give you a typical example. I usually say sometimes I've not gotten a very fantastic pay in my talk business, for example, as I do MC. But guess what? Anytime I go to talk, I feel happy. Even when sometimes the pay is not as fantastic as I feel happy. Like, something I do passionately sometimes might not be tagged hard work, right? However, making that thing you do passionately yield evident results makes it become smart work. Not that you're just jumping around because you're passionate about things you shouldn't now, right, add some sauce to it to make it fantastic. Yeah, that's my point of view. I feel, yeah, why people feel like going to Lekki, you work hard, you does not look like what you work. I feel it's because sometimes they're not actually passionate about the job. My point of view.
Oh, you mean that? Okay, I think something there. There's one thing you said about being passionate about a job. I think in this part of in this part of our world here, I would say, would I be right to say a lot of people don't work just because of they have passion for the job, but just to make ends meet. Outside compared to other parts of the world or other parts of the world where people say, okay, I like what I am doing. I want to be a firefighter and I enjoy being it. So can you I don't think we can't say that about this country, but one thing I pick about what you just said is being passionate about the job, which I feel it's not really common here in Nigeria. If I have anybody to counter that, but you can say something about it. But I just feel that a lot of us that work in most places are not so passionate about our job. We just want to do it. Okay, let me just do it. Let me just leave my house. I don't know if I'm right with that. I don't know if I'm correct with that. Does anybody have? Oh, someone just said here, I think everybody works for Survivor. Wow. Okay. Do we agree with that? I think everybody works for Survivor. Henry, do you agree with that? Someone just said, I think everybody works for Survivor. Do we agree with that?
Well, I think Survivor for me, I think Survivor comes first. Then maybe in the midst
But
of
you just said
survival.
something about passion
Hold on
here.
now. Hold on. Hey, passion. Passion is one thing that makes hard work, the states hard work, like to be easy when you're passionate about it. But it can be frustrating when you're passionate and somebody else is frustrating you. However, go and check most times. I'll give a typical example. I've always wanted to be a comedian. I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, like full time. A typical example. But ending up doing my IT and advertising agency and integrated marketing communication firm made me start having a special love. That's why my portfolio changed from, apart from being an entertainer, my portfolio became managing human beings because it's part of what I do. Yeah, I do. And there's one thing I started. They always say I always behave comically, but that's the way I am. That's what I love to do. You understand? So I feel it is survivor first. Then passion comes in because I think I entered the survivor now.
In this part of the world, you're saying it's
Gotta
survival.
survive.
Okay, I'm seeing a hand. Okay, let me take Oluwafemi Festus. Hi, Festus. Good evening. Femi, can you unmute yourself and speak?
Yeah, good evening. NG,
Hi,
good evening,
how are you? How's your
everyone.
work? How was work today?
Man, a survivor mode, just like Blazer said. Well, the truth of the matter is that um, we have to be honest with ourselves. People actually don't really do what they want, although along the line they probably fall in love with the work and everything goes on. But the primary motive, the only people that will probably not do work for survivor are those that are made, the people up there. But for an average Nigerian, you just apply and you believe that you climb the ladder as the months go by. So now to the main question about working hard and the likes, it's just I want to go fully with Blessed this time around because it's more about passion and not hard work is there, but it's
Okay.
more about passion. So when you are passionate about it, although at times that passion can be induced by hunger, by responsibility, when you know that, oh, you have responsibility, you just have to
Don't
develop
have
passion.
anybody to pay your bills.
You don't have anybody to, the passion will just come. You'll be surprised that I never had passion. Where is this passion coming from? So many other factors could influence the passion. So that passion can now be tagged as, in quotes, hard work. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay. And okay. So does anyone have I'm seeing another hand. John, you raised your hand. Kindly go ahead and shoot or mute your mic and speak.
Okay. Thank you, Ngozi. Thank you so much. I think I will agree with everybody. And I from what the first speaker said, that Adeoti Kende, I think I agree with him as well. I think hard work and then smart work are kind of relative. So you can't really say, there are some people that actually work hard and they get results for what they work hard for. And there are some people that are actually smart and they do not really do things in a funny way, or how would I put it? But I've seen a lot of people that work very hard. Like my MD, the man, I'm very sure till now he's still in the office. He's still, I don't know what he's doing. He's still in the office.
It's really rare,
So all these big guys, they work very hard. I work in the same building with Dangote. I can tell you Dangote come to the office almost more than 4 times in a week. I'm telling you. So these guys, they don't just sit back despite the fact that they have money. These are the people that they leave office by 6, by 7 sometimes. So I think it's kind of relative. And I'm looking forward to hear from the speaker because there is a lot to learn and unlearn. So that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to everyone that has contributed. Okay, I'm seeing a comment here. Someone said that person way they alive, they get passion survivor first. Yeah, thank you to everyone that has contributed. And if you're just joining us, this is 412 Hangouts. It's always every 2 Mondays, every twice in a month. And it's hosted by Foundation of Truth Assembly, the new wine expression of Foundation of Truth Assembly, and it's for working class mature singles. So 412 is not just one, it's for us to learn and unlearn and we learn every day. We learn every day. We just learn every day. I was just saying it on Twitter Space today, where I had the opportunity to join Twitter Space. That okay, every day, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. So every day you learn, you pick one or two things that will help you further, that will help you push your head to life. And that's one thing about being in 412. That's one thing 412 is all about. We learning, not just learning about career, learning about finance, relationship, everything godly to make a whole and godly single. So you're actually on the right spot if you're just joining us. If you're still on the road, so sorry about that. If you're already at home, welcome. And if you're still in the office, please do and get home early. So we will still continue from where we stop. I don't know if our guest is here yet, but we will continue from. Does anybody have actually? I actually over the week I think today I spent time looking out for something about hard work and the way Oyibo people paint hard work. Permit my language, but the way Oyibo people paint smart work and hard work is quite different here. It's quite different from what we believe. Our own is everybody gets hustle to make things better. So I one thing I'm going to ask our speaker when it comes is side hustle plus your hard work. Are you it's I'm going to let the cat out of the bag when the guest comes, but I will still further ask another question. So this has been on my head for a while now. Okay, when do we say we are cheating? You know, some people don't believe that you cheat on your boss with their time. And I've heard someone said words like, "Oh, me, I'm working. I'm also doing my business, and I get to get to do some side hustle even during work hours." During that, does it mean to you that you're stealing out part of your boss's time, or when do you think one is actually stealing out of office time? Or do you call that doing business on the side even when you are supposed to be in the office? Like, do you call that smart work? We're all trying to get extra money. I hope I've not deviated a little bit, but this thought came to my heart, so that's why I'm asking it. Okay, do we have anybody that wants to say anything about it?
Yes, Ngozi.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I think the best time you function, well, I'll say for myself, I don't think using office time for some of your personal things is you cheating on your boss, right? I think cheating on your boss is not delivering on your KPIs. Cheating on your boss is not delivering on your activities for the day. Cheating on your boss is not giving what do you call it now, the desired results that you're expected to get out. I'll give you a simple example, right? In the last,
Okay.
I work from home apart from Tuesdays when I go to work. In the last couple of days, I noticed that during the daytime, I lack insight of communicating, of like sending some mails, doing something. But guess what? Between 9 and 12 a.m. in the midnight, you saw my mails dropping, everything dropping. So people wake up to meet my mails, they can start discussing about them. Okay, this is it too, this is that too. You understand my point? But the truth is that if you force me, maybe because I work with a creative agency, if you force me to do something, I will not give up my best in doing it. Right? I can tell you for free that, hey, there are some things on my desk currently that I'm talking to you that I want to do. And I'm trying to, let me just finish, unwind my head. And the next couple of minutes, I start working. So I feel if I don't deliver on my things and it's becoming a problem to the organization, then I'm cheating on my boss. So cheating on the bosses can be relative. It depends on what you're doing. If you're not now working at all, you're not bringing value to the agency, then yeah, it is.
Okay, it can be relative. Chiamaka, what do you think?
This your question is tricky.
Chiamaka, are you there? Hi, Chiamaka. Are you
Hi,
there?
Ngozi. Yes. Good evening.
Evening.
I've not gotten home, but I didn't get what you were saying. Is it using your? Are you saying that you are using your work hour to do another job? I don't understand what you were talking about.
Let's say you're a content person now. For content writers like us, we get to do some other kind of jobs aside from our regular jobs. And let's say you're at work and you want to quickly let me just quickly edit this thing and send it, or let me quickly proofread and send
You're
it to
cheating
the
on your
person.
boss, you're cheating on your boss. That's not right. As long as you're trying to get multiple streams of income, or you have other skills that you possess that is really helping you and bringing income, is bringing money for you. It will not be nice that you're using your work hour to do your own personal job. You are paid for
Even
the
when
hour
you need to quickly do it.
it's not nice. You know that, but wait, tell yourself the truth. Do you think if your boss catch you, he or she will clap for you? You know that you collect query for that now. So it's not nice. So going on the topic, hard work and smart work. I think the two, it's good to work smart. You can be working hard, but you're not working smart. That's the truth. Like, you can be working hard and you're not working smartly. I don't know how to give the instances. There are people that have worked for years. Okay, let me say, for instance, you've been in a job and this is what you do. And you know that if you continue doing this, you are good at what you do. And then if you're not trying to improve at what you do, you can't get promotions. You can't move from where you are to another level. And then you spend more time doing that, and that means you are there. There's no new thing for how many years you've been working in that company. That you're not working smart. So if you're working smart, it's like, this is your career job. You must look for ways that you have to put in effort, take up courses, do things that in the next 5 years you will see an improvement or changes. You can actually change it. That's how I feel that you're working smart for somebody, and then managing your time. So working smart is that you're looking for opportunities that will make you better, that will improve. Because these days in Nigeria, people are working. There are two things that are making you to work, and mostly is money. In this country now, people work for money. It's not just about passion. No, be passion. Sometimes passion is good though, but it's money. Nobody should tell you otherwise, because you need to eat, you need to take care of yourself. So at that point that you're working hard, you're trying to work hard, you must also work smartly. That's what will make you stand out. So you see people that have been in a company for 5 years and someone just come and the person is doing that thing in another way. He gets promotion, he dives into this and he's doing well. So I think that's working hard and work. It's good to work hard. Then again, it's good to work smartly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chiamaka. I really appreciate that. I picked quite a number of things from you, and I like that. So I'll quickly take, our guest is actually around, but I'll quickly take Igwe Chooks. So Chooks, quickly unmute your mic and just say something, few minutes, and we'll give you very few minutes.
Okay, hello everyone. So about working, using particularly the question she asked about using your work time to do something that is in your work related. As Blessed said, everybody has a KPI. I can sit in the office and be working and not deliver my KPI. I didn't do any side hustle. But I can do my side hustles and deliver my KPI. You're paying me for my KPI, not the time I am investing in your work. Now, the truth is, most of the experience, especially in my field, don't really come from office work. Like I tell people, I learn almost 60% of everything I know outside the office, and I bring it to implement in the office. Do you understand? So at times, you can do that just to improve yourself. So at times you're in the office and there's an issue in the office and you need to go to YouTube and watch a video just to you're on YouTube, somebody will see, this guy's on YouTube, he's not working. No, but you're trying to make yourself better. So you need to know the balance. Also, to side hustles, multiple streams of income is very important in this town we stay. At every point in time, 24 hours now they do us to make money. So let's use all the possible time. That's all I can say. It might not be, if a CEO is here, he will attack me, but that's just the truth.
Chooks, thank you so much for that. We all have our own opinions on how we view things, but the most important thing is I keep saying that your delivery at work is, even if you don't like the job, my brother was, even if you don't like the job, you still need to put your best at it. So that even when they're saying, this person didn't, when they're saying about somebody not delivering, your name will not be mentioned, even if you don't have passion for the job. So I will pause on this, then I will have to, our guest is around. Our guest for tonight is around. I've been so anxious to see him. Chooks, your hands are still raised. Kindly bring your hand down, please. So our guest is around. Our guest is Pastor Yomi Agiri. He is the head of HR, Human Resource at Custodian Custodian Insurance PLC, and is also the leading pastor of Foundation of Truth Assembly. And it's an honor to have you here. So anytime I hear anybody into HR about speaking, wants to say something, I respect them, because that field is a respected field. So, sir, you're welcome. It's an honor to have you here at 412 today. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor to have you grace 412 one day today, sir. So we'll quickly go into the topic today, smart work, and how smart can we be at work? Smart work, hard work.
Okay. Can I be made a host so I can share my slides, please?
Okay. Okay, John.
John,
can you hear
make
me?
a co-host or a host? I need to just
Yes,
share my slides.
yes, I'm on it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So why John is on that? So if you're just joining us, this is 412 Hangouts, and it's hosted by Foundation of Truth Assembly, it's the new wine expression of Foundation of Truth Assembly. That's 412. So if you're still at home, if you're still at the office, if you're still on the road, so sorry about that. If you're still at home, welcome. So welcome to 412, and hope you've been learning. If you're just joining, so we have our guest speaker already. He's about to start speaking, Pastor Yomi Agiri. He's the head of HR Custodian Insurance PLC. So, and he's starting very soon. So I just want you to open your heart and be ready to learn. Pick up your pen, get your jotter ready, because a whole lot is about to come out this evening. So, John, are you done? Are you on it?
Yes, sir, you can try now.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Okay, good evening, everybody. It's nice to be here. When I was given this topic, it's like an oxymoron, smartly working hard. There's a lot of talk about hard work versus smart work. A lot of people have different views and opinions. And let's just quickly share a word of prayer. I mean, this is a Christian gathering, and I believe that God should lead us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we're here tonight. We ask, Lord, that you will speak to us. You will make things clear to each and every one of us, that, Lord, even at the end of the day, we shall have cause to glorify you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So it's an interesting one. And basically, I would just want to start by saying that for each person, this was a quote from Neil Armstrong, that one small step for man is one giant leap for mankind. So in everywhere we find ourselves, we're expected to do certain things. And what we do has enormous implication. So there was Neil Armstrong, who was landing on the moon, and just a small step, literally speaking, but it was a major achievement, a major milestone for the entire human race. Okay, so it's important that we understand that God is interested in your work. I'll say that again. God is interested in your work. And we can see that right from creation. Genesis, I'm going to read some scriptures. I just want to start with one or two scriptures, and then I'll go into the meat of the day. Genesis chapter 1. So work started from the creation. So Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then verse 26 says, then God said, let us make man. So there was work being done at creation. God was busy working. He said, let us make man. In chapter 2 and verse 2, it says, on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had done. So there's a place for work, there's a place for rest. So God himself worked and he rested. Verse 8, same chapter 2, Bible says that the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and he put the man whom he had formed. And then verse 15 tells us, verse 15 says, then the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden to tend and to keep it. So the concept of work has been right from creation. Man was made to work. God himself was an example. And of course, there are various other scriptures. I will not, it's going to spend too much time on this, but I will share these slides with you. With John will send it out to everybody. And there are other concepts about work in scriptures that we can go through. And just for us to know that, look, God is interested in our work. No, now I'm going to list out about 13 or 14 tips that will help us in this issue of work. The first thing about work, whether it is smart work or hard work, is you need to plan. Plan, plan, plan. So you can't just get into your office and just work. There must be a plan for it. It's either a daily plan, a weekly plan, a monthly plan. Over and beyond the plan, you actually need to review what you have done. So yes, we set out to do this. How have we done? So it's not enough to work. It's also critical to carry out reviews from time to time to evaluate what you've done. Now, in my place of work, as sister rightly said, I work in an insurance company. The second Saturday of every month, we have what we call our MPR, our monthly performance review, where we come and look at how have we done in the past month vis-a-vis what we set out to do. So we actually had one this Saturday. The meeting starts at 7:30 in the morning and we finish, depending on how the meeting is going, between 11 and 12. So we review. So we have a plan and then we review our plan. So as an individual, what are you set out to do? What's your job? Whatever your job is, you must have your daily plans, weekly plans, monthly plans, annual plans. But over and beyond the planning, there must be a review. And I'm sure you've all heard this quote that many people never plan to fail, but many fail to plan. So planning is very, very important. So also looking at my work, our planning, our financial and our budget plan for 2022, the process has already started. You may be wondering, so early? I said, yes, we're going to conclude the process by the second week of October, where we'll come together and we'll look at what are our plans for 2022 in terms of budget, achievements, what we want to do. So we have that process well ahead of time. And of course, in planning, you also have to talk about deadlines. What do you want to achieve by when? Okay. The second thing that we need to also understand in this issue of working smartly is your workspace. Your workspace. It's unfortunate you can't see my own personal workspace here. I'm actually in between houses. I just moved house, and there are a lot of boxes and a lot of cartons where I am. I have a room that is going to be my study. I've already brought a table. I've started organizing the place. I need to get a new chair. So the way you organize your workspace will impact on how well you are productive. And I'll say that again. The way you organize your workspace will impact your productivity. Now, you need to take time to organize your files, whether they are physical files or electronic files. I know virtually most of us use computers. And one thing I tell people that if you don't arrange your files in a very logical and sequential manner, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very, very difficult to be able to retrieve them when you need them. So for those of you who use the laptop or your computer in the office, how do you catalog your files? How do you save them? Or do you save everything on your desktop? Some people's desktop are so cluttered that to find anything becomes a problem. Now, for me as an individual, even my inbox, talking about emails, I mean, we'll talk about emails later, but just important for me to mention that even my emails, the way I've done my email folder, inbox, is I have a subfolder for the critical people I work with. So I have a subfolder for my MD, I have a subfolder for my group MD, I have a subfolder for the 3 or the 4 people that work with me. I have subfolders for critical people that work with me. So what that then does for me, it helps me be organized. So immediately an email comes in, that mail goes into that folder. So once I open my inbox, I know who are the critical people that have sent me emails. So that's talking about organization. And these are the things that will help you. So that it's not as if you have 30 emails that have come in and then you see 30 and then I'm wondering, who are the 30 people? But of course, I've seen that, oh, my group MD has sent me something, my financial manager has sent me something, my legal person, so I can see them at a glance. So organizing your workspace is also very, very, very important. And so that you can put your files in the right order, even if you are the type that you are dealing with physical files. How are you cataloging those files? How are you arranging them? How have they been aligned in the office? Then the issue of your recycle bin, that's talking about those who are using systems, you need to purge it from time to time. These things will help you and make your system work much better. So the other thing, of course, I've touched on it, is about technology. Technology in today's day and age is key for us to make progress in our work. Like I just mentioned, how I've done my inbox, things are try to make sure that I do things in a better way. But of course, with more gadgets come more stress. Technology can actually bring us huge benefits, but we must know how to use it. A lot of us have phones and we don't use them well. There's a lot that your phone can do. Reminders, putting down notes. There's a lot that our phone can help us to achieve in the course of our work. A lot of us just use our phone to call, text, and what else? Yes, call and text and maybe browse. There's a lot. So I have a colleague in my office. Every now and then you hear an alarm. Auntie, why is your phone always doing alarm? Says, I've set a reminder for myself to do this. I've set a reminder for myself to do that. I say, okay. So she's trying to use that gadget, that phone, to help her be much more effective in her day-to-day activity. So technology will help you. We need to be abreast of new software and also updates that may actually help our work. Now, this could be a bit controversial because people have different ways of working. Different people have different ways of working, but studies have shown that it's better to do brain work in the morning and body work in the afternoon. So, of course, in the morning when you're still fresh, it's good to spend time to think, to plan, to do a lot of thinking work. And then later in the day, you can then go ahead with more routine, manual issues. Now, that's a bit controversial because people are different. some people are what you call morning people, while others are more of evening people. So I am typically more of a morning person. My wife is more of a night person. My wife can work till whenever. But me, once it's getting dark, it's getting night, me, I want to sleep. Because there's some people that they thrive on this. They tend to work better in the evening. But generally speaking, it's better to spend your morning times planning, preparing, and then later in the day you do other things. Now, the issue of delegation is very important. Delegation or teamwork. You can't do it all by yourself. I'll say that again. You can't do it all by yourself. You need to find pairs that will help you, subordinates that will help you in terms of different tasks. You cannot do it alone. So either you delegate or you share responsibilities so that you can save time, manage tasks, and increase your productivity, generally speaking. So delegate, delegate, delegate. If you have subordinates, if you don't have, then you have to look for people who would help you achieve this. Then, of course, there's a Pareto principle. I'm sure we are all aware of the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule. We need to focus your energies on the 20% of your work that will give you 80% of your productivity. It's the truth in every walk of life. So 80% or 20% of, so for example, if you have a fellowship of 100 people, 20 people in that fellowship will be the ones that are contributing 80%. Contribution, not just financial, but in terms of quality and stuff. So also in a place of work, in your job duties and responsibilities, there's that small 20% that will help you achieve 80% of your productivity. Your key result areas, your KRAs, or you can call them your KPIs, what are the critical ones that will enable you achieve your set goals? And you should now not waste so much time on the other things, not that you won't do them, but this is not a time management seminar. We go into some details in terms of how do we manage our time, what are the urgent tasks, what are the important tasks. That's another discussion entirely, but we need to focus and ensure that we put the right things in the right perspective. Okay, then emails. Emails. A lot of people need to understand that email can be a productivity killer and it can distract you from work. Some people actually don't check mails until certain times of the day. Maybe they check their mails every hour, but some other people, they check it, but it can actually be a distraction. Now, I particularly get a bit upset when people send emails and they copy 50 people, 30 people. Yeah, I mean, you understand what I mean? I may be exaggerating, but as a rule, when you have received an email that the email chain, yeah, copying and recopying and copying and recopying, my brother, my sister, pick up the phone and talk to the person. Because a lot of times, what you can achieve with a phone call, you may not be able to achieve with 20 or 30 emails. Just pick up the phone. Oh, I saw your mail. You said this. What do you think we should do? And then you have a discussion. It's short, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute meeting. You sort it out. Then you send an email to document what you have agreed instead of all the up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. You then get your inbox full, and that can then affect your ability to deliver. Then, of course, you must use appropriate communication. Now, communication is a sore point for a lot of people. If a document is not properly written, communication can be an issue. So time will be wasted if you have not communicated properly or in a very ambiguous manner. So people don't understand. So for example, I had a meeting about 3 weeks ago. Somebody sent a report and said we should review it. And we were reading it. I mean, I was happy I was not the only one. But what that person wrote and what he meant were two different things. So the report said something, and we're like, what do you mean by this? So the person now explained what he wrote. I'm like, if you will need you to explain what you're writing, then you have done a poor job communicating. So how do you communicate? Are you using the proper words? Are you using the right things, the right syntax? Or are you hitting the nail on the head? They tell us that the first rule or the golden rule of communication is KISS. KISS. Keep it short and simple. Short and simple, that anybody who reads it will understand. Not that you write something and 5 of us read it and 5 of us are getting 10 different meanings. So if you've not written properly, you're looking for trouble. And I say that again, you're looking for big trouble, because people will not understand what you're writing. And of course, at the end of the day, a lot of time can and will be wasted. So appropriate communication, writing properly, is also very, very important. Aha! Number 9, the nice tip. You must learn to say no. I'll say it again. Learn to say no. Don't be a people pleaser. You know, at times they give you work to do. Please, can you help me with this? Yes, I'll do it. Can you help me with this? Yes, I'll do it. You must learn to say no, so that you can do your work well. Because there will be distractions along the way that will side-rail you or derail you from your core purpose. So you must learn to say no. You must learn to say no. Are you available? Even if your boss is there, do you have a minute? Sir, I'm in a meeting. Especially now that there are a lot of virtual meetings. I remember the other day my MD called me. I was in a meeting on a virtual call, and immediately he called me. I picked it, and of course, I lowered my voice. Said, "Good afternoon, sir." Yes. Oh, he said, "Oh, are you in a meeting?" I said, "Yes, sir." Okay. I said, "I'll call you back, sir. I'll call you back, sir." So I already zoned him into a place to let him know, "Sir, I'm on another meeting," which he was aware of. Maybe he may have forgotten. So it's not a matter of, "Oh, no, sir, I can do it now." It's a meeting. There's something I'm doing. And it's not as if he mentioned that what he wants me to do is an emergency. Okay, so you must learn to say no, of course, in a very diplomatic and tactful manner, especially when it has to do with your supervisor or your manager who is asking you to do certain things that may derail you from your core purpose at work. You must commit to downtime. And by downtime, I'm talking about rest. Talking about rest. I mean, or was it yesterday? Today's Monday. Yes, yesterday. A senior pastor was telling us he didn't come for first service. He didn't come for first service at all. He didn't come for workers' service at all. Why? He said he slept. He was tired. He said even his cook rang the bell, he didn't hear. He slept. So it's important that we need to shut down from time to time. Nobody's Superman. To rest and recharge your batteries. To rest and recharge your batteries. All these things, when you do them, they make you a better person. You're able to achieve much more. Okay? Because if you don't do this, it's like burning a candle at both ends. It's like burning a candle at both ends. You burn out quicker. You burn out quicker. You need to exercise. So I just moved house, and it's now, where I live is now will I call it a 2-story building, ground floor, first floor, second floor. So my room is on the second floor. So whether I like it or not, and the kitchen is on the ground floor, whether I like it or not, anytime I want to eat, I must climb downstairs and go to my room house. So there's one now, by fire, by force, I must exercise. Okay, so you must try and build exercise into your routine, especially now that a lot of people are working from home. Don't just sit down in one place. Some people decide to stand after a while, or just take a walk around if your area is safe enough for you to do it. But just try and do some exercise to balance your physical health. They've told us that a lot of people who have been sedentary in their work and approach can lead to various heart disease and, of course, obesity. Of course, lockdown, for those of you who remember, a lot of people put on weight during lockdown because people were locked in and they were still eating, still doing what they were doing, but they were not exercising. So it's very, very important that these are things that will help us do our work better. You may feel that, is it exercise? Oh, it helps. It helps to stimulate your brain as well. Okay. Social media, that one. Social media, very tempting, very, 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 very tempting, but it can be very distracting. Discipline is required here. Okay. Except your work, except you're a social media person, except that's your job. Okay. Try not to let this take too much of your time. Let's be disciplined, especially during work hours. If you're using your computer, learn to close those windows that you're using. Otherwise, it will just keep popping up and be distracting you. Just keep popping up. Those things can distract you. You're in a meeting, you just see a Twitter chat, or you just see an Instagram thing, just pop up, pop. Those pop-ups. And if you just, once you click one, I hope you are feeling me. Once you click one, before you know it, you have spent 30 minutes reading this person's comment, that person's comment, this person's comment. So that you must exercise a lot of self-discipline in that area, and because it can be disruption to what you're doing. Okay. Addiction. I think I'm guilty here. I take a lot of coffee. My focus is to be just more during, if it's a working day, I drink my coffee in the morning. I boot with this. Some of us are addicted to coffee. Some other people are addicted to power drinks. But it's important, they tell us as we grow up, we have to be very careful because they can affect both your mental and physical health. I know somebody, one of my colleagues, he must drink that his Red Bull every morning. And I've been trying to get him to, because these things over time, they could have a negative impact on our physical and our mental health. Now, it's important to write things down. I talked about the phone earlier. I have a jotter. I have a physical jotter, which I use. And I always tell young people, when you're going for a meeting, or if your line manager calls you, don't just go physically. You must take something to write with, because your boss is calling you to give instructions. Okay. The other option is your phone. Is to use your phone. So you must learn to write things down. God is a very wonderful God, and God grants us inspiration from time to time. One must learn to write down those things. So an idea comes, quickly jot it down. You can use your phone, jot it down. Because if you don't jot it down, that thought will go as fast as it came. It will go as fast as it came. So I have my notes, I write on my phone as I remember things, I type it out. And maybe God just said, and God is a very interesting God. When you commit things into his hands, when you pray about things, he has a way of answering those prayers. So at times I prayed about certain things, and God has said I should do certain things in certain ways in the office. Just pray about it. Lord, there's this proposal I'm trying to write. I'm having a mental block. How should I write this? And God will just drop one or two thoughts on that proposal in your mind. I just quickly write it down. And by the time you start writing and you're looking at those things you jotted, and it helps you. And it makes much more sense. And of course, in conclusion, I just want to conclude. By saying that, just my last slide. I don't want to spend the whole day. We can't talk about this for a whole day because it's like a summary of so many little topics. The issue of work is central to existence as we spend the better part of our lives working. As such, we need to get it right. Otherwise, it's lead to frustration and depression, amongst other things. However, if we do get it right, it leads to fulfillment and self-actualization. Thank you very much for your time. I'm open to take questions at this time.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. I picked a whole lot. As a content person, I picked a whole lot from the distraction. Even as a social media content provider, I know how much distracted I can get. So thank you so much for bringing that surface. And I hope we all learned something. And we're going to go into the question and answer. But while I wait for us to start, if you have questions, you can raise your hand and we'll take it up from there. But while I wait for us to ask our questions, I'll quickly ask a few of the questions I made notes down here. And one says, how can I work hardly and smartly? How can I work hardly and smartly? Because sometimes people say you don't start. Hello, sir. Are you still there, sir? Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm still here.
Sir, I just said one of the questions I wrote down that's part to now was keep coming to our hearts. How can I work hardly and smartly at the same time? Because even in all this, so we've had times where our bosses will say you're not doing so well, even at the face of when you're trying your best. So how can I work hardly and smartly at the same time, sir?
Okay, so there's been a lot of school of thought of this issue of working smart versus working hard. I think working hard just generally talks about the effort you're putting in, or you're a hard worker, you're churning in the time, you're putting in the hours, you're going the extra mile. While working smart is actually saying, come, it's like Pareto principle. What are the key things I need to achieve here? What are the little levers I need to press to ensure I get my results? What are the relationships I need to form? So it's being strategic. It's like talking about one is strategic and one is operational. You can't do without both. You can't say you want to only work smart. You still have to work hard. Hard work talks about the time and the effort you're going to put in. You can't come into the office at 8 o'clock and say, I'm going to work smart. I'm going to just put in 2 hours and then that's it. There'll still be meetings you need to do. There'll still be relationships you need to form. So yes, it's important to work smart, but you cannot but also work hard. You cannot. Even Jesus Christ worked hard. They walked from one place to the other. They went on crusades, but he also worked smart in terms of focusing his energies on certain people, going to the Pharisees, going to different places at different times. There were times he preached, there were times he healed, he knew what to do, when to do them. But of course, he still had to go around doing those work. So it's important that we understand that, yes, we want to work smart. There's a lot of talk about working smart, but it's important to also look at your work. What does it entail? What are those KPIs, like somebody said, what are those key result areas? And I also mentioned the issue of the Pareto principle, very important. In your job, if you look at it, if you have a job description, if you have like 10 or 20 things you're meant to do, if you look at it, you will know that there are about 2 or 3 or 4 of those things that, if I get these 3 or 4 right, the bonus is guaranteed, But it's also important that, yes, you still need to put in the kind of grind that is required to get the results you want in your day-to-day work. I hope I've answered the question. Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. Important, like you stated, it's important to know how to channel our strength on achieving what we need to achieve. But another question that keep coming to my heart is, it's really, time is never enough. Sometimes 24 hours is never enough.
You are correct.
Because I still had that challenge this week, trying to finish up a short course I wanted to do. And I discovered that I didn't even watch any of the videos this weekend, because there is, aside doing my work job, there is still church work that I still need to report to and all that. So
are you married?
No, I'm single.
Okay. By the time you get married, there'll be more things to do. Then you have to minister to your husband, you have to minister to your children. So the more you move in life, the more challenges there are, but God is able to grant you grace to achieve each and every one of those things. 24 hours can never be enough. While I was growing up, my sister told me something once. She wrote me a letter. She's in the US. She said 24 hours is not enough for her day. When I read it, I said, what's wrong with her? What grammar is she blowing? I didn't understand. When I started working, then I understood that before you know it, it's 5 o'clock. And you still have a lot to do. You still have to go home. Before you know it, it's night, you sleep, the next day has come. That's it. That's why they say time is a resource. You have to manage it. And there are various time management tips that would help us. So it's to focus and channel our energies on the critical parts of our work, because we must manage the time well. We have different things. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm no longer a son because my parents are dead. I'm a boss at work. I'm also a subordinate. I'm a colleague. I'm a pastor. I'm a child of God. So if you now segment yourself into all those areas, you have to add value in all the facets, in all those areas that you are in. But you have to ask yourself, what's the most important? I'm first and foremost a child of God. For me, first and foremost a child of God. And my relationship with Christ is the most important relationship I have. Yes, I'm married. I have a relationship with my wife. Yes, I'm married. I'm a father. I have kids. I have a relationship I must manage with my children. I must minister to their needs because each of these relationships have different times, the different expectations of me. So we now need to ensure that you're able to manage each and every one of them properly and not do one to the detriment of the other. And that's life. It will never get easier. And the older you get, of course, there are much more challenges that come. So the person who is single, oh, you can decide, oh, I'm going for fellowship. Whenever this fellowship finishes, when I get to, okay, by the time you now get married, I have to be careful. Now, if you're a lady, your husband is at home, you have to take care of him. Or you're a man, you're now married. You can't just be hanging out with the guys like you used to. You have a wife at home, you have to get home, you have to minister to your wife. You have a job. Um, of course, maybe when you started the job, you are an officer. You've risen in the organization. You're now a manager. You're now responsible for a team or a unit. You now have 2, 3, or 4 people under you. You must also develop those people. You must evaluate their performance. You must give them work to do. And there's much more responsibility. And that's the way life is. We grow. We grow daily. We grow weekly. We grow monthly in our responsibilities and in our outlook. Even in church, you started as a worker, maybe in the ushering department, and then eventually maybe you became the leader in that department, or you moved to another department. Then there's much more responsibility. So life is about growth. It's about growth and making progress. And the prayers that God will help us, even to Bible says a line upon line, precept upon precept, a little here, a little there, and we continue to grow in grace. That's why the Bible says, grow in grace and in the knowledge of Jesus. So as you're growing, God will continue to grant you the enablement to accomplish the various tasks and the various expectations that are ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this. But I'm still going to ask another question that
Please go.
we actually led me to what you were saying. So, at what point, with all these things that is crying for our attention,
Yes.
we want to do side hustle, at what point is enough to start getting certifications? Because these are the things that helps you get promotions at work. Your certification, maybe if you're an IT person, if you're an accountant, what time can you say, okay, I want to get a new certification to upgrade. I want to just get upgraded on my skills. At what point in time?
Okay, so I think the first thing is you need to understand. I said I think the first thing I talked about was about planning. So what are you doing? That's the first question. What are you doing? What do you do for a living? What is expected of you? What does the organization expect of you? Does the organization expect me to get certified? You need to ask yourself that question. If the organization does not, okay, fine, they don't. What does it take for me to get ahead? So for example, I'll use my office. There's some certifications that if you get promoted. So for example, we're an insurance company. So if you qualify as an insurer, it's automatic promotion. This one does not require meeting. Once you do the exam, you qualify, you bring your result. It's an exchange of paper. You bring your result, I certify it, I promote you immediately. So you need to understand where I work. What are the expectations? Okay, if I do this, what will I get? But over and beyond that, you find out that there are people who do certain certifications, not because of where they are, but because of where they want to get to. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So the certification someone is doing is not because of today, it's because of where he wants to go. So for example, I have some people who have traveled to go and do master's degree in certain areas that may not be too relevant to what they're doing today. But it's because they've planned out their lives that, okay, I want to spend the first 3, 4, 5 years of my career doing this. And thereafter, I want to get additional exposure, academic or professional in this area that will make me a bit more marketable. Okay, I don't want to stay in this line. I want to move into another line. So for example, you have people who, before they finish in school, they're already qualified. Maybe you're studying accounting, and before you graduate from school, you're already a chartered accountant. So that's already giving you a foot in the door. It's giving you an edge over your classmates. Or you're studying insurance, and by the time you're finishing school, you're already qualified as a chartered insurer. I see a lot of that happening today. So by the time you're entering the office, you're already a step ahead of your colleagues. you've already given yourself a head start. So when they are reading for professional, you can decide you want to do a master's. Okay. And the master's, in terms of the grind, is not as the grind, I don't think for the master is as much as the point for the professional exams, you know. And then you get ahead and then you can focus your energies on other things. So it depends on what you're doing, depends on where you're working, also depends on what your plan for your life is, and then you can then begin to decide what you want to do thereafter. So for example, I want to do 1 or 2 certifications. I personally want to look a bit at analytics. I see, for me, analytics is like the future data. You may say, after all these years, yes, I want to do that. But of course, I'm trying to look at the timing because the program I want to do is actually an online one. And I've not yet registered because, like you said, there's a lot on my plate. Yomi, will you have the time and the discipline to do that program? It's not a cheap program. And you know how online is. Once you've paid, you've paid. If you like, do it. If you like, don't do it. They won't refund your money. They just open the portal for you. They list all the courses. You'll be doing them. You'll be doing tests, assessment, and all that. So if you like, go and spend the $1,000 or the $2,000 or $5,000 you want to spend. If you like, use it. If you like, don't use it. They've collected their money. So I have just decided, okay, I want to hold on till I'm sure that going to have enough time to do that certification. So certifications are important, but you have to ensure that what you're doing is relevant to where you are, to the organization you are, and maybe where you're going. So at times I see some people just do some certifications, and I personally, I ask myself, of what relevance is what this person is doing to the current job? At times, there's no relevance. And then you ask them, there's no relevance. So for them, it's more long-term. But it's important to also look at today in what you're doing. Yes, you can do certifications for long-term, but please make sure you do the current ones first. Not that you're looking at a pension plan and you're doing it now when your career is still very young. Oh, I want to be an insurance broker. I want to be a broker when I finish. Okay, let me go and do these brokerage exams. Like, ask yourself, when there are critical things for you to do at this point, face those ones. And if possible, ask for counsel, ask for guidance. So certifications are important, but you must make sure you're doing the right type of certifications, because the world is full of as many certifications as there are people, especially in the tech space. There's so many, but just make sure you're doing the right ones. Make sure you're doing the right ones.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a few minutes to round up, but I'll really quickly ask this question. And the question is, someone actually asked, and is that, is there the temptation? There's a temptation to do more and more to the point of exhaustion. Taking a break in terms of, is it termed laziness when you decide to take a break when you're being exhausted? Sometimes you're doing more, and as you're doing, the work is coming. As you're doing, it's coming. It's the work still is not stopping.
They said the reward for good work is more work. So I found out, and it's the truth, when you're doing well at work, when you're reliable, the organization will trust you with more work. And that's the truth of life. So if you are a team leader and you have 5 staff, and there are these 2 staff that whenever you give them work to do, they don't disappoint you, who will you give work to do? Yes, because they make life easier for you. They make life easy for you. So as I said, the reward for good work is more work. More work. They just be putting you on committee, this committee, that committee. But guess what? It's stretching you and making you a better person. Like somebody said, work never kills you. Yeah, just keep doing it. God will grant you the grace. So at times we'll begin to grumble. Am I the only one? You're learning. No. You're learning. You're getting better. You're deepening your skills. You're deepening your experience. You're learning. So I'll give you a personal example. Last year, just before the lockdown, our CTO resigned. Just before lockdown. So my MD said, hey, bros, keep an eye on technology. I'm like, So I was acting CTO for about 4 months during that lockdown period. It wasn't funny. It wasn't easy. In addition to my HR work, it wasn't funny. And you'll agree with me that 2 units that were under immense pressure during lockdown: technology and human resources. I was wearing 2 caps. But I learned a lot. Not in technology, but I learned a lot, because mine was keep an eye on that division, on that unity, we get a replacement. So immediately we got a replacement, and guess what? And I was the one trying to recruit. So I was fighting tooth and nail to make sure I got a replacement on time. So, but it's an experience that you can't buy it. There's no course that they would have sent me on that would have exposed me, because pandemics don't happen every time. So there I am, keeping an eye on that unit, learning so many things. And it's for me, it's one of my high points of the year 2020 professionally. That exposure, I learned a lot. Now with pandemic, vaccines, so many things. So people should not look at it, they always give me, it's opportunity to learn. Grab it with both hands. Opportunity to learn, grab it with both hands. It just makes you a better person. And those skills, once you have it, they're yours. If you leave the organization tomorrow, they won't say, all those skills that you have, drop it at the gate. No. All they'll collect from you, they collect their computer, collect ID card, what else? Company property. But the skills, the knowledge, the exposure you've gotten is still with you for life.
Thank you so much, sir. We really don't have time on our side today. I wish we can just go on and on, but hopefully we'll have you back again on 412. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your time with us. And though we don't have so much time to ask plenty other questions, but some other time when we have you, always ask those questions. So it was awesome having you here, sir. We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, everybody. I hope we all learned 1 or 2 things. I have a whole lot. I learned a whole lot today. I really learned a whole lot that can relate to my life, to my career. And it's every day. It's like I said earlier, that it's a learning opportunities. A whole lot is a whole time for us to learn. We said a day is never enough, but for every time we have opportunity to learn, we should just learn. For every time we have opportunity, sometimes we say, oh, this is really stressing us. But one thing I learned during my stay in Stallion, and when I left Stallion, that's my former place of work, they can't take those things away from me. And I look back and I look at all those things my bosses used to force me to do then. And I imagine I know those things now. I will ask, how did you know them? You are not supposed to be a mechanic and you know those things. So like our guest said today, everything we learn from our place of work. Or it's one of the things that helps us put our work better, make us better. It's not going to be easy because there is no time to learn those things. We will always get busy, but it's to make us better. So I hope we've all learned something today. And if you're just joining us, or if you joined us in between, this is 412. We have less than 4 minutes to go. So this is 412 Hangout. It's the singles. It's for mature singles, and it's hosted by the FOTA, Foundation of Truth Assembly, the New Wine Expression of FOTA. So, and our coach is Reverend Yomi Agiri. He's not around today. So we had our guest, the lead pastor of FOTA, Foundation of Truth Assembly. That's Abayomi Agiri, and he has really opened our hearts to what smart work and hard work is. I know we didn't have so much time to ask plenty questions, but I know we all learned something. So if you like to be added on the group, kindly send in your numbers and we will add you on the group where further discussions about what we learned today will be discussed. And here we have our pastor. We have our youth pastor. I really like this man so much. I really admire him from afar. That's Pastor Jenkins. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Pastor Jenkins, good evening, sir. We cannot hear you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a nice time being around here. And I'm also happy that I learned a lot from Pastor Yomi Agiri tonight. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate, sir. So thank you to everyone that joined. And if you are new, we mentioned earlier on, kindly drop your number on the chat box and we'll pick it up from there. And then we'll add you on the group. So thank you to everyone that joined. Thank you. Hope you learned something. The discussion can still continue on our group. So the discussion will continue on our group. But if you're new, if you were invited by a friend or anybody, kindly drop your number on the chat box and we'll add you on the group ASAP, where it's 412 group is actually an awesome group where we learn and unlearn. We don't just discuss work today, at least you met us discussing work. We also discuss spiritual things. We also discuss career, like what we did today. We also discussed finance. We've had times that we talked about finance, and because singlehood is a phase in our life, and very soon we will leave that phase to another phase. So that's one thing 412 is all about, to help us grow as singles, even as we grow into the next phase of our lives. So you can drop your number on the chat box. And for now, we're leaving. So you can unmute your mic if you need to say anything, if you need to say hi to everybody, Femi. If you need to say hi to anybody here, you can unmute your mic because we're rounding up very soon. We have less than 60 seconds to end the meeting. So I'm still saying from here, I'm saying thank you for joining. You can unmute your mic to say hi to anybody.
I'm Godly, well done.
Well done, NG. Thank you.
Who is Ghost? Who is Ghost? I've been saying Ghost. Ghost, please, can you talk? We really want to know you.
I'm so sorry, I can't see all the
I'm
names.
seeing Ghost. I'm seeing Comrade. Thank you.
Yeah, Ghost. Please, who is Ghost? I beg. It's scary. I don't want to see Ghost.
Femi, Sheon, Oyewale, Oluwasegun. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Oh, Comrade, thank you. I can see the names now. Don't mind me. So, Oluwasegun, thank you. Oluwasegun, thank you so much. Femi, thank you. Femi, why am I seeing your name everywhere? Thank you so much for joining. Chooks, thank you. Chibike, thank you. So, thank you all. So, see you in a week time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Welcome.